Well, they put a little bit of effort in this show, but honestly, that was about it. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite. That doesn't even mean the show was bad, but a lot of it was phoned in, and I have a feeling next week's episode will kind of be more of the same, because they taped both episodes last weekend to give the crew some much-needed time off, and then they're going to have the live Saturday Night Dynamite on June 26th, WCW Saturday Night 2021, making this triumphant return. We didn't even know we needed it, and then they go back out on the road, and once they get out of Florida, I'm going to be interested to see what kind of crowds they draw. Be good for them to have a break from Daily's Place, and hopefully once they come back in a few months, 6 months, whatever, they can have a fresh audience and it can just feel cool and everything. And I just really hope that the wrestlers are jazzed up and the shows get better, because they're kind of rolling over and playing dead for a few weeks. Makes sense, because the Friday night time slot has not been all that good for them. They draw better ratings on Wednesday because wrestling fans are creatures of habit, but the NBA playoffs are a priority for TNT because of money and all that and everything, so it makes sense. But yeah, I think if they were on Wednesdays, a couple of these matches would not have been on Dynamite, and they would have been on Dark Elevation, or, well, even Dark. Anyway, the Pinnacle arrives in a limo that will obviously not come back into play a little bit later in some kind of, car smashy segment, because it's not like Tony Khan loves late 90s WCW and is copying it in 2021, except, oh yeah, he is. So anyway, we start off with Matt Hardy and TH2, and anytime you start off your wrestling program with a Matt Hardy promo, especially in 2021, you're kind of having some issues. Look, Matt Hardy, I respect what he's done for wrestling, but this whole Hardy family orifice or whatever it is not fucking working. The stable's just a hodgepodge of, just guys and also the bunny. It just isn't fucking working at all. And TH2, Evans and Angelico are fine. They're fine. They're fine athletes. The team isn't interesting. Matt Hardy does say, Christian, you will never financially recover from this. This was an actual line that he said on a wrestling program, because big money Matt. Christian Cage versus Angelico. This was fine, but not Dynamite material. Maybe AEW Dark Elevation material. So, just god damn it. We get a diving headbutt by a Canadian wrestler, because that's what we need to fucking be reminded of, especially, with all the stuff about head trauma. Maybe take the diving headbutt out of wrestling. I mean, I understand wrestling's a contact line of work, but a lot of it, Harley Race himself wishes that he had never fucking invented that. But anyway, eventually kill switch engage 1, 2, 3. And of course we get an aftermath, because it's AEW, and I'm more surprised when they don't do a fucking aftermath. And then Jungle Boy stops it. So, the next few shows that they're going to be having once they go back out on the road. Road Rager, I believe in Miami, on July 7th. And Fyter Fest Nights 1 and 2, July 14th and 21st. Those are in Texas. Somewhere in Texas. And then Fight for the Fallen on July 28th. I don't know if that's in Texas or where else that is. I didn't write that stuff down, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do this stuff. And then Tony Schiavone introduces Brock Anderson, Arn Anderson's son, who's training to wrestle and everything. And okay, they hooked us with the Brock thing. No, obviously Brock Lesnar's not going to show up in AEW. There'd be no reason for him to, because it would be stupid for him to show up there, because Tony Khan would pay him a whole lot of money, and he would offer nothing and bring nothing to the table. He would not fit in AEW at all. They need to focus on people that they can build for the future, and not for the immediate, not like for the immediate few weeks. So anyway, it's not like he hasn't been guilty of that already. Tony Khan, I mean. Cody's entrance, Pyro, it's ending racism with every explosion. No, I'm not going to forget that, because his promo was fucking shit. Cody actually managed to get a couple paragraphs out. And boy, Brock Anderson has his dad's hairstyle and his hairline from the early 90s. And if you get it, you get it. So QT shows up and he runs down Cody. And he wants to whip his ass in Miami on July 7th. A South Beach strap match. Okay, so we had a bull rope match between Nick Camarado and Dustin Rhodes recently, and now we're going to have a strap match. They are bound and fucking determined to get this QT-Cody feud over, and it's not fucking working. It's nothing against QT. This is not working. I don't care about this. He does whip Arn Anderson with his belt, and man, they just will not give up on this feud, and I don't get it. We get Pac and Penta and Kingston versus the Bucks and Brandon Cutler in a face mask. Don Callis joins commentary because, it wasn't annoying the first 20 times. Let's do it 21,000 more times. I hope all the women that were around ringside that were the paid women's wrestlers, the paid fans out there, kept an eye on Don Callis and his invisible hands, if you know what I mean. So, well, Cutler was here to take the pin. Thank fuck. Nothing even against the guy. He's only there because he's a Bucks friend. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. But anyway, eventually it devolves into everything that's a typical Bucks match. And look, the Bucks are better as heels because they're unlikable douchebags, but they do the same shit. It's the same shit. Nothing really new. Sorry. I'm not a big fan of them. I know some people are, and that's cool. Kingston gets a hot tag, goes nuts. We get a melee. Cutler gets hit in the face a lot. Why even have the ref? The referee is fucking useless. We get Penta in a dive. We get a 450 into the brutalizer and broken up. Everybody dies. More melee, more dives. Back fist, spinning back fist. Cutler gets pinned by Pac. Cool. Life goes on. Oh, wait. No, life doesn't go on. We get another fucking aftermath with the Good Brothers. Home of the Good Brothers. May we take your order? And Kazarian, the elite hunter, killer, hunter, ex-hunter, I guess. I don't know. I like Kazarian. But goddamn, the second fucking aftermath. We had a little bit of a brief brawl in the, freaking promo battle between Cody and QT. While Arn Anderson and his son with the same hairline as him in the 90s just stood there. Goddamn, show some restraint. Be like a freaking S&M shop and show some restraint. So anyway, we get a video directed by Naka Kurosawa, Michael Nakazawa, who really has no business being on a wrestling show. With distorted subtitles and everything to make it look like there's a conspiracy against Omega and Callis G. A Canadian guy on a wrestling program talking about conspiracies. I feel like I've seen this before. The Pinnacle's here, FTR, they cut a promo. Well, Dax cuts a promo first, talking about Santana and Ortiz, talks about providing for his family. Cash says, fuck them kids, I don't care. And, not fuck them kids in the Grizzly Smith way, fuck Grizzly Smith. He should burn in hell for that. Check out my review of that Dark Side of the Ring episode. And Spears got a mic, and it was not taken away nearly quick enough, and says he wants to fight Sammy. Cool. And then Wardlow knocks Hager while wearing that shirt. Credit to Wardlow for wearing that shirt, because I certainly wouldn't. MJF knocks Jericho. It should have been a dream come true, but it wasn't. It's like, you're a false god, all this stuff. He's knocking him. He denies his request for a match. Then suddenly Jericho shows up on screen. The limo gets busted. And somebody, and I believe Santana Ortiz, paint El Barto on the doors, which I found hilarious. And it's WCW 1999. I half expected Sid to come out and be all upset that his car got busted. Seriously, that's all this was fucking missing. I want to cheer for AEW. I want AEW to do some good shit. I will take 2 hours of AEW over 3 hours of Raw, because 2 hours of wrestling is way better than 3 hours of wrestling. Nitro learned that after a couple years, but fucking goddamn Christ. If they can't show some restraint, then they deserve to be fucking knocked down for it. What is Jake Hager doing here? And you know what? I think everybody's been asking that. Every wrestling fan's been asking that for the last 10 years. So, of course, Hager failed to properly use the goddamn forklift because he bashed the doors in but didn't lift the goddamn thing because he's an idiot. Maybe if they put the forklift in a cage, put a kid in it, then he would have known what the fuck to do with it, because Hager's a goddamn Proud Boy fuck. So, and by the way, I will include my opinions on that and about wrestlers in regards to how they feel politically, and if that bothers you, go tootle off. Because I do this for fun. I do this for views also, but I do this for fun. I'm tired of holding back my opinions, and I don't really care if I offend anybody. Anyway, we get a pre-tape of Darby and Sting. Darby says, hey, old man, stay home. I mean, he didn't, but he might as well. Then Sting started talking. Hey, everybody, an old man's talking. I love Sting. Goddamn, Sting, the bloom is off the rose with Sting, and the bloom's been off for a while. Pre-tape with Evil Uno talking about Brody Lee, what he's meant to him, and it was really emotional stuff. And I'm not the biggest Dark Order fan, as you know, but Evil Uno was well-spoken. You could tell Brody Lee meant a lot to him. That was good. And then Miro versus Evil Uno with the Dark Order, and the kid's there too. This is good. Let's have Miro beat Evil Uno in front of Brody Lee's kid. TNT Championship, after a brief flurry, Miro just basically destroys Uno. Grayson and Five come out to encourage Uno to get back in the ring. Senton for one. Dark Order come out, to root for Uno along with the kid. Exposed Buckle at one point because Miro tore off the buckle pad and threw it at Five, and he ran away. Then he got his buddies to come back. And Miro no-sold a freaking discus lariat and got the game over for the win. Why weren't they using Miro like this before? I'll never fucking know. So, we get, what does Andrade bring to the table? Apparently clothes. Clothes and gloves and rings. That's what I got from this. So, Shivani interviews Omega and Callis. Cool, they talk about Well, conspiracies, a con job, aha, I see what you did there, except Callis, you're just as bad at covering up, assault cases as you are at doing puns. And I know something about doing bad puns. Omega then praises and then knocks Jungle Boy, who shows up. It's funny that Omega knocks somebody else's promo skills when he can't cut a good promo to save his goddamn life. And I stand by everything I say about Omega. Omega's a tremendous athlete. He can do great flip-de-doo-dah shit. You try to put him in an actual goddamn wrestling match, he can't do anything. And apparently he's dealing with a lot of injuries. So Omega may be some people's cup of tea, and that's fine. He ain't my cup of tea. Okada made him, and he has been steadily going down ever since. And if Omega is dealing with injuries, I hope he can recover from those injuries. But if he is possibly contemplating retiring by the time he's 40, he's 37, 38 now. He ain't going to be wrestling much past, I'd say, 2023. And that's being generous, which, oh no, stop, don't come back. Anyway, you talk way too much is what Jungle Boy said, and then they have a brief brawl. Jungle Boy bails when the Bucks try to come out. And then Jade and Sterling are talking, and Jade says, I'm that bitch. That's her catchphrase. And then Sky and Ethan talk about Darby. Well, Sky does, and I tuned out of anything Ethan Page says, because I'm sorry, Ethan Page is a fine athlete. I don't find him interesting at all. Lance Archer versus Chandler Hopkins. It was a squash. Chandler sold his ass off, and Chandler Hopkins has something. He was on a couple episodes of Dark. I don't think Dark Elevation, but Dark. He is pretty good. And I want to see what he can do in the future. But Archer squashed him. And then Jack the Snack just looked confused. The Dolph Twin and friends talk about Orange Cassidy and his fashion sense and challenge him to something. I kind of tuned this stuff out because why would I care about an Orange Cassidy, wingmen, whatever the hell, group there? Why would I care about this feud? Why? Nyla Rose with Vicky versus Layla Hirsch. Get rid of Vicky. Nyla doesn't need her. Seriously. Vicky brings nothing to the table. This is good. It went through a break. It did some stuff. They did some good stuff, though. And Layla looked good. She fought from underneath. Nyla's a really good monster. And the German suplex is really good that Layla did. Layla, for her stature, can do some really good stuff. She has great, explosive power in her legs. And springboard moonsault for 2, but eventually avalanche beach bomb. She hit the beach. She's a native beach. No, a beach bomb 1, 2, 3. There you go. And then Shivani interviews Britt and Reba backstage. Maybe you should stick to flipping burgers. Aha! She says about Nyla who flipped the burgers around. Next week, we're getting Pac, Penta, Kingston, and Kazarian versus the Bucks and the Good Brothers. Some of the Good Brothers. Maybe we take your order. Great, good. More messy stuff, except now with 8 people instead of 6. Can we flip a car during that? I'm not excited for some of this shit involving the Elite. Can you fucking tell? Because the worst version of the NWO is better than the Elite were on their best goddamn day. Orange Cassidy versus Cesar Bononi. JR interviews Andrade. Darby versus Sky and Ethan. I imagine that a Sting clone is going to show up. Get Jeff Farmer. Is he still wrestling? Get him. Hager and Wardlow in a cage fight. Okay. And then Cody and Brock Anderson versus QT and Aaron Solo. Then Hangman Page and 10 versus Cage and Hobbs. Starks and Hook at ringside. Taz on commentary. Pop for Page. Power boy shit. They're tossing each other. They're tossing each other around. Tossing their opponents around. 10 gets tagged. We get a post spot with Cage, and then we get a moonsault for 2 on Hobbs. 10 gets back in. Get a bad high-low because they mistimed that because it is what it is. And then the belt gets tossed away because Cage is like, I don't like the FTW belt. Nah. And then Starks is upset. He slaps Cage, and then it's like, no, I have a bad neck. And then Cage chases him backstage, and stage, if you will. Cage on the stage, chasing him backstage. And Hook follows. That leaves Hobbs alone. Spinebusts for 2, buckshot for 3. 10 pins Hobbs. Okay. I'm not sure why, but it is what it is. I guess they made it where like Hobbs could not take on 2 guys on his own, but I don't know. It's kind of a phone-in episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.